Always. So, kudoku yumfa, they can to bet 10 pini, come on, and go and try to put chan, kufoku yumfuisha wino. Man, let me tell you, somebody had consulted and they were told, even if between now and December to look at your case, it will take some time. Why? Because they broke off for Christmas, ni Christmas period. So after Papa got my consultation, I said, I'll give you Shani up until December. Tumonenga wakanta, shana. Chiyongo chile dama, but chile send not my screenshots. Because all that will be put in. It will be put in as evidence. No kuyumfa no kubecha. I'm a refugee. Nikwesa mwa mwene refugee kwikala nendarama. Refugee na nasunga kwarekala luxurious life. Nikwesa mwa chimwene. All that will be looked into, okay? Because you cannot say I've sought an asylum and you are living luxuriously compared to those that are not on asylum. You don't even work. You don't work. You don't even do manual work or just cleaning and sort here, there, and there, and there. But you left like a life, tawomba. So who's sponsoring that luxurious life? That's what we want the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees to look into. Because if somebody is having sponsors who are sponsoring a luxurious life, why should they sit on asylum? When there are people in their need of such an asylum, when they can afford not to be on an asylum, to actually fend for themselves, that they can even afford to fly their family to wherever they are. Those are issues, keen issues that need to be looked into. How did they manage to fly their family to where they are, to join them, if they have sought an asylum, if they are not working, if they are a refugee in a certain in a certain country, they don't work. Where is this resources coming from? Who's funding this luxurious life? So if you want to live, calculate. Who's necessitating those kind of troubles? Who's funding such a life that somebody can wake up today, sit by? If I cannot afford that a life, I work. Like I work 8 to 4, Monday to Friday, okay? But I cannot afford to wake up in the morning and sit by the pool, sipping champagne. You don't have bills to pay. You understand? But somebody who's on an asylum is living a luxurious life. Yeah? And having to my girls here and there, panga and there, all sorts of things. How is it possible that that person can afford such a lifestyle? So all those things are things that we need to look into. Those are the things that the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees need to look into. Who's sponsoring such a life? Who's behind all this luxurious? If this person has sought an asylum, then they'll go to the page and say, oh, hang on, this person sought an asylum based on the principle that they are being persecuted by the current regime. The current regime is a dictatorial regime. What has changed now? That this person has now endorsed the same regime to carry on, to further carry on being a dictator. In that way, things have changed. The basis on what they sought an asylum for has changed. Therefore, the United Nations need to look into, because there are millions, okay? When you say there are millions of people in war-zone countries that really are in their need of asylum, okay? But you cannot start abusing. You want your rights to be protected. That's why you sought an asylum, because your rights were being trampled upon because of your political views. But once you sought that asylum, you start abusing other people's rights. That does not make sense. So, for us, it's not about teaching somebody a lesson. No. For us, it's about making sure that those people who are in their need of help receive that help. If people can afford to sponsor themselves, live a luxurious life, and then good books with the same regime they were running away from, then it's just imperative that these people go back home and then be free to support the very regime so that it can continue beyond 2026. So that is the thing. But we wait to hear. We want to hear because we've been challenged to see nothing is going to happen. But we know to say, okay, they break off by the time they look at the application and things like that. But it will take some time. But we wait to hear. That's what I wanted to say on that regard. Now, I've titled this live as The Untold Truth versus the Reality. There's a reason for that. Okay? Now you need to understand that where I'm sat here, at mix it so that won't say okay. Panonchkere mwe bantu bakwalisa mfire mwa understand ukwebati. Ine my allegiance yaikala kuchalo. Not kuri individual, not na kuri makebi zulu win forward. My allegiance chalo. First thing first. Zambia. Mwafwa. So no politician, and I mean no politician. It means no politician is exceptional. This is what you need to understand about me. And I deliberately refuse to be associated so close to politicians because I want to, I'm able to call them out. I'm able to say, and I understand to say, I'm politicians, tabafwa yokuba challenged, and and it's okay. That's why I don't feed off a politician, and which is a principle that I've taken, because if I'm feeding Ruparo and family and in they reach a politician, then Kawashita castigate, I can't go compare Endaram. Since Kuswija Kampu, na couldn't pay Endaram and Ambostakas get to ya. Onale supporter F tayari. Tayari ushimupere kofe kandarama nishawa enemy. Because enari shorupwa. Muri matumba yaba umeba nankwi. Mwanfo. Di ure de ama politics tayari. Ba isi ya obadifwa. Aba mufumisho kwa bati mchifungo mudi ya ikaramu. Ebu amba nombo kustata kaba shinga idifenda veni. Mwamona. Because ba UPND vale mulisha mwere mwebati. Kaya kashitata kiwi mwine watu ebere tayari kwe bati. Ero wa join na wa UPND. Ero wa ambo kusapota wa UPND. Pakanaka kwa tobero kwebo kwebati. Nga wamba tas wala kupera. Kuchitatak ECO. Now ECO is dead. Bale tina makebi. So tas wampere. Kuchitatak makebi. Norupora wa ECO. Mwanfo. Mwine watu ebere. So let's not forget. If you're at that time, Sokoro Romuin. Alright, Nana and Tina Gairi. I pin him down. I pin him in the corner. Ala Sokoro. Like if he na Sokoro Edi. Yeah, on his program, Ali Sokoromu in a cat wave. So this is at a begs even from women. Mama Matipa said, Mwamonaka. You also Edwardi, I katishe. It's another issue that the UN should look into. That's the reason we are doing this. Because Pakanokakwe, Asarando Kwebat, Adiebere Ethe Edward Kwebat, Wawombere Pamo. Ba UPND bali mwerera Ethe Edward. Okweba Ethe Edward kwebati. Iwo kabiye ku Zambia nindanda nabo kali ba UPND tabaka kuikati. Mwanfwa Ethe Edward ba mutumino kwisa mkunti tata akini. Kwisa mkuntuka aikara no atuka no rupo rwandi inshamu aswika. I ended up blocking her because I didn't want to kutoshanya nangu. Ba Ethe omubwapwa ba mfuira tayari vaya ku Zambia vaya vekata. Why is there and that also whether now I'm stop that because the valley for which what now I'm weak. Tell you name. We know are to Kaete also Edward. Never nice days. Who knows, maybe I saved their life for coming out the way I did. Uyata adi uwale woman Ethe also Edward. Uwa ikatishe tayari. Uwa ikatishe Ethe also Edward. Adikwi. I dekano kumunanda po mkashana wakantu. Today we don't know where she is. The tuishi wafia fide etikakuri Etheo. Ewa. So, ba UN, ba fuino kunone ke shapali tayari kwe ba tibushe tayari. Vale won't youngster win the week ama Zambians abale ikala abroad kwe ba tinga ba welera kuchalo. Vaya bekata, did he necessitate the arrest of Ethe Edward? That is another issue that needs to be looked into, because he's the one who told us to say, Efe otsonoitwa dvale bomba nankwe. Lero efe otsonoitwa ali mu kifungo. Lero ububwino obuteko bwikete efe otsono Edward. Ebuteko bwine ubulera ndokwe wachani. Ebulebo kwe bati batadi bale bomba nabo baleba abantu kwe bati ba HH batungurure batwalirire. I'm trying to upatankanya chibemba so that bonse bale onfu wako mwanfa. So I may block someone because why some couldn't this step, because I'm about to officer corona no Fiona. That's good. Now I'm about to Fiona Ola. Should I get a manity greetings up? Mama. So tayari aikacha efe otsono Edward. But eka lidokura post that government is so by UN tayari uli pa asylum ngale womba no buteko ko but eka chishawa abantu abali kunse ya charo ukubaleta mu charo, then there's something that he has broken and by UN should look into that. Now, the topic at hand, the untold truth versus the reality. I was saying, we don't want to understand that no politician is exceptional. Ichikuro chona bera pano nga kufireka ngale na Africa. I even said, even this that is happening in this country is even bigger than Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Mwana mwachini de tarika. I said, let's rally behind Edgar Chagwa Lungu mule tarika. This eligibility case is beyond, it's bigger than Edgar Chagwa Lungu. It's huge. Let's protect it. If we stand up together, these people will know to say that what they chaso twaona ule ifundero twapanga fwebe ne bwechalo fweba ruling ino koti achitaru twayona ulaira ru twapange twachitaru fimi icharo chikema icharo chikesala ndati no mwanji ba echecho fuba ba echechi bara he test the waters. He always tests the water. Is that one thing? Mukamone ofo bachita operate. He will do one thing. He will see the reaction. If there's no reaction, he will continue, even take it up a notch. Once there is resistance, he goes back kubwendo and try and do a different mingarato. First balami. He will make sure you forget about things, bring some other things. He brings back the same thing that you rejected. And this is what he's doing with the constitution. He met resistance, the court ruled, he went back and deferred. Deferred. Now he thinks you Zambians have forgotten, there's some other things going on, voter registration. Once we are talking about voter registration, constitution. That's how HH operates. So you need to be vigilant all the time. All the time. You need to be vigilant. That's why I was saying, issue about eligibility about Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Edgar Chagwa Lungu feno. HH knew to say, if I can get away with this, then I can get away with even the constitution amendment. Meaning I can get away with anything. And that is their method of operation. Now here we are today. Okay? We've heard stories of Kaunda, Shanchan. But therefore I'm able to say Zambians because Mulalaba. There was an audio that came out, which I'm going to play loud so that you hear it. Therefore, our socialist, you know that I respect my Fred member. You've never heard me talk about my Fred member. The only time I talked about him is because of this audio that came. When ECL was in South Africa, okay, there was what they called a united opposition. Now, apato amboku ingirama, the untold truth. There was something that was being formed called the united opposition. Okay? And there were meetings that were Fred member, Bagiven Rubinda, Vanakachinda, and some of the PF, including Bakanduru. Okay? I want to be very honest with the Zambian people. You hate me, fear with you. The pictures are there. Okay, there were meetings. Kwarina bena muhabi lungu, also on and so forth. Balungu ni shibadiku South Africa. Momana. When those meetings were being held, in the midst of that, where the opposition were saying, we have to form a united opposition, because mnenje wat inene wo mderu fyanye finto abe ne wa opposition bale fyanya inenga na sa batitana na isa batitaka stigeti, so that they do the right thing. One box start attacking instead of you going after your leaders. When ECA was in South Africa, when there was this going on with the Tonse Alliance and now the socialists, there was this what they formed after UKA called the United Opposition, in fact, United Front, something like that. Now we saw Estina Kachinda was there, but Given Lubinda was there as acting president, but Fred Membe was there, and some of the PF leaders were there, including Bakanduluo, so on and so forth. So, when that happened, there was a leaked audio. God knows where that audio came from. And this audio I want to play because I want to take you back where this whole thing started. Okay? It's a United Front, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to play this audio so that so that you have an idea of what is happening. Okay? So, here it comes. Okay? The quiz audio. I want you to pay particular attention to the audio, okay?
Yes, my leader, you keep your statement.
Yes, I was called by an ISP, so in the chat, they said, no, I've done a statement in your name. I said, no, embrace it with both hands.
I want to add some volume, sorry. The audio is quite faint, so let me replay it. Let me restart it, sorry.
Yes, I was called by an ISP, so in the chat, they said, no, I've done a statement in your name. I said, no, embrace it with both hands.
Yeah, I saw it. You sent it to me, so I said, I'm just also sending it to communicate it to approve. I said, no, I've read it. We are one team. Let it go out. You can't see it.
Yeah,
And once I'm talking to him, he's very excited.
OFM.
Yes, yes.
I also spoke to him.
No, that's good.
Yes, it's supposed to manage. I think that's what you know. We want to be sure that we are not only limited to just thing, any other. Hence the statement, this is progressive. So we should also do a video, I'll do that. I could all come over, reach out to you to do a video and then a voice note can also be circulated.
Fantastic. Then I was talking to him also, telling him about the plan that we need to engage the provinces. Because he was agreeing, saying that we need to speak to each of the provincial
leaders.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know who within Toronto we can also work with.
No, actually, right now, I'm going to see what you underscore. The second, we need to now that this has passed, we need to do another strategy now. So, I want him to... Yes. Exactly. So, what we want to do is... I'm going to see, we want some statement from members of parliament today. Then Kumozi Kumawa Sports Trade Center at the press conference.
Who runs Kumozi Kumawa?
To speak to the issue, to say they're excited, they're happy, and they welcome this idea, and so on and so forth.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that it has a natural reaction. We don't give the guy in South Africa an opportunity to come and say, this is where we're going. When people have already spoken, and welcome, so to give to momentum, who there was a real kid. We will try to find some clergy.
Yes. No. We can't wait for Johannesburg.
No. We can't wait for Johannesburg to come and get the narrative for us. No, let him remain by the hospital bed where the narrative is being created. But time is coming back, it is done and dusted.
Yes, and he's even been received in a bigger way. All of us will be at the airport.
This one would have been technically been removed. So did you? While is receiving him, we'll be carrying the ruling from the Constitutional Court.
Yes. Take over.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'll brief you after the meeting with Chanda.
no problem. And then maybe after that, after your briefing, then we can see in the afternoon we start engaging the provincial leaders.
Oh, fantastic.
But he just told me to call Gilbert and also Patson and Maximo so that they don't feel left out.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go. I think in the afternoon we can deal with all the provincial leaders.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, my leader.
Oh.
So, that audio came out when President Lungu was in South Africa, where they are saying that is Kaunda and one of the ladies who happens to be Bafred member's daughter. Okay? They were having a conversation about taking over of Tonsi. And what they were saying was, and I quote, that we cannot wait for Johannesburg, meaning to come and create a narrative for us. And that was when ECL was in South Africa. Let him shanshan Yukopa hospital bed and whatnot and whatnot. Okay? This audio came out. Okay? Well, we are going to take the structures, provincial, whatever. By the time he comes back, we are going to welcome him with shanshan Yuko, but nish everything fyadi tika. That audio came out. It exposed what was happening. So I came out, okay? I castigated 2 people. I castigated S.G. Nakachinda and Bagiven Lubinda, being the vice president of the Patriotic Front. If you follow me, you remember very well that I came out very strong on this regard. And people didn't like it. But I came out to condemn this audio, and I came out to call out by S.G. Nakachinda as well as by Vice President Bagiven Lubinda to say, why haven't you issued a statement regarding this? Because these people are talking about your boss, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, in bad taste. And they are saying they are going to take over whilst your boss, the president, is in South Africa. Now, once this was happening, there was also another statement issued by Mundubire. Okay? And he said, and I quote, whilst President Lungu was still alive, he said, I'm ready to take over Tonsi. I came out and said, why would Mundubire go on a radio station and say he's ready to take up the chairmanship of Tonsi when we have ECL? Who's the chairman of Tonsi? And that was before Edgar Chagwa Lungu died. So there was this going on with Kaunda and the daughter. And I also questioned, that was the first time I spoke about Wafred Membe. And I said, why has Wafred Membe failed to discipline Kaunda and the daughter regarding this audio? Because it is in bad taste. Were they not aware of this, or are they aware of this and they're just playing a blind ear? They never disciplined Kaunda. They never disciplined the daughter. We never got response from S.G. Nakachinda. We never got response from Vice President Given Luwinda. We still also, when we castigated, Bamundube could not explain why he wanted to take over Tonsi when the chairman was alive and kicking in South Africa. I've led the foundation. You know what? I came out, I castigated them. They didn't like it. They went to my WhatsApp blogs. They castigated me. I don't care. I said what I said. And now things are proving me to be right. But Fred Membe failed to discipline Kaunda. Momona. They played a blind eye and deaf ears. And little did Fred Membe know that the very strategy they wanted to use on ECL would be used on him. Okay? Little did Fred Membe know that the same strategy they wanted to use on ECL could be used on him. Now here's the gist. In July, just after ECL died in June, 5th June, just after he died in July, somebody took a picture of Makitu, Kaunda, na Abena Trevor Mwindi. We came out here, we asked, what is Makitu, Kaunda doing with Trevor Mwindi, an abductor of JJ Banda? They were having drinks, now the picture is there. And I said about Mark 2, and I quote, I said, Mark 2 is going to be used as a person to neutralize what is called Ichabaichi. And again, people did not hear me. They were castigated. I said, okay, fine, but time will prove who was right and who was wrong. Kaunda, on the other hand, I questioned. Actually, I'm questioning now because I never questioned. On that regard, I just questioned Mark 2. Mark 2's intention. Kaunda, on the other hand, this just came to me, is why was Kaunda with the UPND? What made them, Trevor Mwindes, accommodate Kaunda, knowing that Kaunda was with SP? What did he go to tell UPND such that they accommodated him, they had the lunch, the drinks, and so on and so forth? And it just occurred to me that the same strategy that the SP, the United Front, wanted to use on ECL is what Kaunda got and went to UPND with that strategy to destabilize the SP, but not just the SP, the PF as well, killing two birds with one stone. This is just occurring to me because of what has transpired. You know why I'm saying killing two birds with one stone? Let me tell you this. On 24th of October, okay, HH, something clicked in HH. He realized to say, those documents that he have for PF and Chabinga is an orange, he's done with Chabinga. HH is done with Chabinga. He cannot use Chabinga anymore. Why am I saying this? HH realized because wherever he was there, people were lifting a symbol. This. They could not speak, but they were just marching on the 24th of October. These were the symbols. Ikofi, 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 Ikofi. In front of HH, and HH saw that. Now here's the gist. HH realized to say, I FIFA papers in Kwete, fiafie. Okay? Fiafie, because Chabinga, with those papers, did not move with the PF structures. Munkonte bueno-san. Imagine the Patriotic Front without the president and with whatever is going on with the opposition. The Patriotic Front managed to organize themselves and marched in numbers, surpassing the ruling government. It occurred to HH, even if he has the papers for the Patriotic Front, as long as the structures remain intact, when the opposition come up with a candidate, those structures are not going to go where PF papers are. Those structures will go with the candidate that they choose to say this is the presidential candidate in 2026. So, how does it destabilize the structures? He has to find a weak link within the Patriotic Front themselves. But before he does that, he has to also destabilize the Socialist Party in case those structures decide to, when they depart, they decide to go and join the SP or any other political party. And this is where I've been castigating Bamundule. Listen to this. There was a point where I said, within the Tonsa there are two camps. Kuri kampu ilerwa yaba mundubire ne yaba rubinda. Okay? I said it. Okay? On the platform, it's in public domain. Now, with these two camps, bamundubile basta ukuchenjele sesha such that he started moving muma party structures. Okay? And HH is looking for a weak link to destabilize the party structures because he has the papers already, but those papers with Chabinga are no use to him because the party structures are still intact. Sharing any munja wa chair to ikonka, chair to itoroma. chair the National Assets Kaidi. Exactly. That's Kotwe. PF structures are still intact even without a presidential candidate. And that does not sit well with Hakainde Hichilema. He has to find a weak link to destabilize the party and ensure that those structures demarcate, divide in two. Now here's the gist. In doing so, he knows to say, maybe socialists also, I have to kill two birds with one stone. So he finds a weak link, Kaunda. Okay? Kaunda, who's a socialist, mobilization youth, whatever you call him. Instead of endorsing his own president in that party, what does he do? He goes and endorses Munduvile. How do you explain that? Socialist is a formidable political party. It has a president, and SG, and I don't know if they have a vice president. I don't follow their ideologies. But how does someone who's in the forefront of mobilization goes and endorses Munduvile in the PF Patriotic Front where there is issues of power? It doesn't make sense. Now, you see how they did it? They did it so quick that they didn't realize that it's gonna explode. And I was warning about Munduvile. It will on his face. Even if you are a Munduvile supporter, how do you explain that Kaunda, after mingling with Mwinde, Nabena Mark II, after saying what he said about Edgar Chagwa Lungu, insulting Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and saying we need to take over, by the time Edgar Chagwa Lungu comes, we need to take over, how do you explain that Kaunda, who has a president, is in own political party, goes and endorses Munduvile, who's vying for president in the Patriotic Front? How do you explain that? Even if you want to argue with me to say I don't like them, no. I'm saying things as they are. This is what I said. The untold truth versus the reality. First, if my friend member, for example, again, what really got to me was this about my friend member today. When Kaunda was talking ill of President Lungu, we never saw him suspended. We never saw any action either from Barubinda, Esina Kachinda, or my friend member. To my surprise, to deal with what has happened, the Socialist Party have suspended Kelvin Kaunda. And for me, it's like, why did you fail to do this when he was being Kelvin, instead of endorsing his own president in the political party he's in, he goes and endorses Bamundu. But this is the same Kelvin that was talking ill of Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and Bamundubile is the same guy who said, I'm ready to lead Tonse, whilst Edgar Chagwa Lungu was chairman and alive and kicking, and he gladly accepts that endorsement, and you people come and tell me, what's wrong with endorsing with Kelvin? Oh, sorry. With Kelvin Kaunda endorsing Brian Mundubi. You don't see it. HH is killing two birds with one stone. It's the same sample all over again. And if HH successfully manages to demarcate the PF structures, then you're done. And this is what's here. When we introduced Makebi Zulu, to say, how about Makebi Zulu as presidential candidate? You know, it actually distorted a lot of plans. Because, but SG Nakachinda can tell you this for the fact. For a reason, because his SG is the second in command to ECL. And anything is supposed to be protecting ECL. But when they did that audio, which I played, everybody was quiet. Nobody was talking. And I'm saying, you can't do this. You have to protect your boss. And I can guarantee you that by SG Nakachinda, after ECL died, in honor of ECL, he wanted to do the right thing. Okay? This is what has made SD Nakachinda to be locked up. Because within the Patriotic Front, they saw SG Nakachinda as somebody who's stopping them from advancing, you understand, their agenda. Okay? They saw him as an obstacle. SG Nakachinda was seen now as an obstacle because after ECL died, SG Nakachinda wanted to do the right thing to honor his boss, Edgar Chakwanungu. So SG was seen as an obstacle, and they had to get rid of that obstacle. And within the political, but that's why you have seen, even the MPs that Nakachinda stood for, they are quiet. They are not talking up on behalf of Nakachinda. Nakachinda went to prison because of what he was told. Because of what Bamundubile told him about HH. What HH was planning to do. And Nakachinda came out in defense of the MPs. But look at the MPs that he was defending. They are quiet. They are not talking about. People said, oh, you were the one who was talking against Nakachinda. I was cascating Nakachinda because as an SG, he needed to jack up. And even him knows. And when we spoke, I even told him, Facebook, okay? He said, I take it or leave it. Hate me, I don't care. But my conscience is clear. Mama, I'll play the audio again. So within the party itself, after ECL died, Nakachinda wanted to do the right thing in honor of ECL. Nakachinda was fought within the Patriotic Front. Okay? Because there are people that are eager and desperate to be called Mr. President. So Nakachinda had to go in by all cost. I can guarantee you, if the PF successfully manages to have a convention, they will release Nakachinda after the convention is done. If you remember, fishing car. Why is everybody not fighting for their SG to come out? Why are the MPs quiet when he stood up for them? Why are you not fighting for your SG? Why? That statement by Brian Mundubile that you wrote. Okay? People are saying don't talk about Mundubile. It's not exceptional. If I can talk about ECO and HH, why should I not talk about Brian Mundubile? Is he exceptional? He's not. It's a politician. You have to talk about him. Even so when SG Nakachinda was arrested, this was a statement written on Brian Mundubile's Facebook page. Let me find it and read and quote. And for me, I just was like, why can't you fight for this guy the way he fought for you? You know? Why do you want to rush to replace him? Why, Monaca? So hang on. Let me find the post about the arrest of Nakachinda. Eko bambire no kwenda. Babra mundu bile bambire kwenda chani. Bambire kwenda after ba SG Nakachinda batensh. Babe kata. Mwamona ka? Mwana. Bambire kwenda ma structures because Nakachinda could have not allowed that as SG. Mwamona ka? Let me find the when was Nakachinda arrested? June. Gatawa it safe delete. I'm on his page. In him folks send the information from my pages here. No gamule post fifi. Of October. 13 October. Can't see the post. Where is it? 19 October. Baba mbo kwenda kumana nishna wekatawa Nakachinda. Can't see the post. Give me a second. Unless it's been deleted. Yeah, it's not there. I think it's been deleted. Let me try and see it on my page because I did share it. Hey, I did take a screenshot, so I have it on my page. So they posted this. Nakatinda's jailing a blow to our mobilization ahead of 2026 polls. This is on the Facebook page of Brian Munduvile. I must express my deep concern over the upholding of our party Secretary General, Raphael Nakachinda's 18-month jail term by the High Court. This development is a serious setback to our party's mobilization efforts as we prepare for the 2026 general elections. Honorable Nakachinda has been a key figure in our organization, both in uniting opposition parties under the Tonse Alliance and strengthening our mobilization structures within the Patriotic Front. His absence will certainly be felt across our ranks. What now for Mundu? Anyway, it is unfortunate that we continue to witness selective application of justice in our country. Recent convictions and bail decisions clearly show uneven treatment of political actors, which undermines confidence in our justice system. Now listen to this. This is a key factor here. It says, and I quote, "Nevertheless, I want to assure our members and supporters that we will put in place all necessary measures to fill the void and continue with our mobilization in unity and determination. The struggle for a better Zambia continues, and together we shall overcome." So already, Barafa Nakachila can appeal his conviction, but Munduvile is saying to fill that void, they'll put necessary measures, meaning they've already thinking of replacing Nakachinda. You understand? So for me, it's like a really weak excuse because he's in jail. Why don't you stand up as a Patriotic Front and fight for your SG? Your deputy SG has been arrested on vigorous charges, sent to jail for 10 years, and that's Banixon Chilango. And here comes another SG taken.
Can I get something warm? Can you get me something warm? Because I don't know what warm.
Alright, I'm coming. So all these things, we're not fighting each other. I'm an analyst. I'm not fighting anybody. This is what you need to understand. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm analyzing the situation. And if that situation does not fit well with you, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. This is what it is. Zambians deserve to know what is going on. And if there's anybody who has to tell them the truth, it is me. And if that does not sit well with you, then sorry, I'm not sorry. This is there on the Facebook page. I'm not fighting Munduvile. This is why you need to understand. I'm not fighting Munduvile. I'm not fighting Given Ruminda. I'm saying things as they are. And this is why we ended up with Hakainde Hichilema, because nobody was checking Hakainde Hichilema in opposition. And look what we did. We just went and voted for him. Oh, Akamande or Lord Shedi. No. Even these oppositions, they have to be checked for them to do something right by the Zambian people. This is in public domain. What I'm saying is in public domain. The endorsement by Kaunda, endorsing Brian Munduvile, it's in public domain. They held, they shook hands. These are the people that failed to endorse Edgar Chagwalungu. Why? The question is why? Today they are actively, accepting endorsements when a Brian Munduvile. Eh? And you want me to sit quiet here and just see things unfold up because we are fighting? Nobody's fighting anybody. It is the truth. This is the truth. And if this truth hurts, then sorry, I'm not sorry. It's in public domain. How do you explain Kaunda meeting Winde who abducted JJ Banda? Okay? An abductor. Then he comes out and endorses the president in Patriotic Front. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? The wounds of JJ being abducted and how he was maltreated by these same Windes. The people of HH are there. We're still feeling them. Then this same guy mingles with them, comes out and endorses someone in Patriotic Front, tries to steal the party of Fred Membe, and you still don't see it. You still don't see it. You're so blind, you don't see it. I've told you, on 24th of October, HH realized that the only way it can manage to get whatever votes, even with the ECZ doing their nonsense of voter registration, is to demarcate the PF structures. And that's what is happening here. You come here and whoever support the Munduvile, you can't tell, hey, don't attack Munduvile. Hey, because you love Makebi. It's not about loving Makebi. It's about what Makebi represents. His loyalty and everything else. And if that's the closest thing we can ever get to giving Israel justice and his family, then so be it. Monfwa, don't think I come here to waste my time. It is things that are there in public domain that you cannot see. Today, Chaikala ba Fred member they robamuchita suspend Kaunda. If only Fred members disciplined Kaunda in the first place when he said all those nonsense he said about ECL. But he never saw it. He never saw it that even his own political party is affected. Because all of you thought it's about ECL. Oh, Kai ECL will take up. Kai ECL nanchi kadira pansansa. And then therefore for president. When we were saying, endorse ECL. But someone got ECL esham kumichita Jack. No, wait, let me finish. Just have some water. One of the LGBT, I was here begging you. This is not just about the LGBT. ECO, ECO. Now it's happening in Socialist Party. The same kind, look at Cosway, look at Watchdog, what they are posting. It's happening, you're still doubting. And you're wondering whether I'm just against you, Mundubide. No. I castigated Marubinda right here on Facebook. Okay? Because these politicians have to be in check. You have to check them. I saw pictures of Marubinda with Makebi in South Africa. Shortly, I saw him with the Mudolo. And even that I'm looking into and finding out what is going on. Just recently, Wameno Chris Manzimba was with Wamundubida endorsing Wamundubida. All of a sudden, after it's taken to where Badi won't say, Badi South Africa. And I can tell you that it is about demarcating the PF structures. If they can succeed to demarcate the PF structures, then they're home and dry. This is what is happening. That's why they found a weak link. Who? Kubemba Lanjuko, Mundubile Afma Kubabemba. Now you want me to go there. Let me go there. Mundubile comes from the Bemba land. If Mundubile gets our Bemba, too much structures to our Bemba, don't you think that demarcates the votes? And that's what UPN is working on. That's what HH is working on. Why is it that Mundu is the only one who's been allowed to go and visit these party structures? If my ECA was the one doing that, do you think they could have been allowed? No. My police, after we castigated them about why is Mundu moving with the police officers, what happened? They try now. I'm even hearing that what they've changed the strategy. They will give him a police in clothes so that you don't realize that he's with the police. That's what I'm hearing. So if Mundubile is a weak link, and I told you why Mundubile is a weak link, I want to go into some of the projects that he didn't do whilst he was minister. I'll leave it there. But if you push me, I'll go into there. Why? But I'll just leave it at simple. Chanoda Gwit, not Chanoda Soul. Uyu admin wa Mundubile nani? Uyu mrumendo. Ati nani uyu? Uyu wale ninga mnyaule. Nani shina? Chanda mondi. Chanda mondi muntu wa Mundubile. There's nothing stopping by UPNG after Mwabasara wa Mundubile to go after him. You keep on saying, Mundubile tako etemirandu, mule tekanya. Pano. Na rimyebero kobati, ba chirufya. Umurandu wa ani biwadi usamika. What has happened? Kuri ba chirufya. Now that is no use, wawera, because chirufya kuchachita influencing she. Bemba votsi, if he's not with them, he will influence kumanza kudia ababemba to vote. Mama. So what have they done to Chirufya? Kusamuno Isha Ani B, and now they've pinned him. Same applies to Mundubile. Mundubile is a weak link. I'm telling you this. It's a weak link, and Kumabemba Kudia, they want to destabilize the votes in the Bemba land. That's what is happening here. Momona, if they can manage to destabilize the votes in the Bemba land, Babakala vote against Singatuari, maybe na Makebi, for example, against Makebi because Badefo Mundubile. That's all. That's what's happening here. And I'm telling you, do not fall for that. Because Mom Kalai Kurika Kuikoni. And that is what the UPND are doing. They know the PF structures are intact, with or without a president. And they know these structures, even with them doing whatever they've done with PF, these structures have not moved. So what are they going to do to ensure that they destabilize the structures? Is to go in, penetrate in, and demarcate you all. But using who? Using the UPND studios like Kaunda endorsing Mundubile. Because they know to say Makebi ni non-starter. That's why you've seen even Katayam Koko has always been on Makebi. Why? Because that's the task they've given him. Tayari has been given a task to attack Makebi Zulu. But Alefiro now Tayari Alefiro attack Makebi Zulu because they've got nothing on him. Eh? They've even gone as far as using the brother to Makebi Zulu, which cannot sell. Look at Zaromes. How can you sell that? Is it Makebi who put the trigger? No. You understand? And this is what is happening. That's why you have seen once, even this Chipoka Mulenga is on Makebi Zulu. Why? Why are they not on Munduwi? Why are they not on Munduwi? You see Kaunda moving away from social this endorsing I come from the Bemba land, but I will not stand knowing if you forget Bufuntungu just because I come from the Bemba land. No, don't do that. Mama. Yes, we've been victimized as a Bemba people. Our people are in jail, but how can we bring those people out of jail? It's by uniting. If we unite, regardless of whoever, they know to say these party structures are intact. They are gone. But if they can come in and demarcate the party structures, especially Kudia, that's why they've gone. Now, Eastern province, they cannot penetrate. My Easterners. That's why they failed even in Petauke. But they managed Kuruapula. Mamon. Chari Katana. So they will find a weak link. Who happens? And I'm telling you, the weak link is Brand Mundubile. Is a weak link. And if you don't handle this carefully, and I'm not saying it because I don't like more. No. My choice of candidates was based on thorough reflection. I cannot support Brand Mundubile when he was endorsing himself before even Isia was dead. That is immoral. Isia was there in South Africa. You are there on radio endorsing yourself to take over of Isia Tanafwa. And you want me to be the one to choose such kind of a leader? You know, there's no way. I will not operate like that. I will not. Are you more President Wem? Why I stop at radio? Why I start endorse? I'm ready to take over. And you want me to support such a person? Kwangara ngamlefa mumpetefe badindeme PF ma structures yenwayo na mwingirirwa and mwingirire nankwe ni Mundubile they've established by UPND that is a weak link. HH has established and Mundubile is a weak link kubabe mboku. That's why he wants to destabilize the votes kubabe mboku. Mama, if he can manage it, we are the majority and that's the fact. If he can manage to stabilize the votes for the majority, that's why the ECZ are so focused on registering voters because they know the strength of the opposition lies in the Bemba land. And this is the truth. How else do you explain? If Einstein does what Mundubile Maido, lelo uyo na conference, huyo kirikiti. Now mulaba nefe ba ikere na vena Trevor Mundi. How else do you explain that? Yeah? And if you have seen most of the MPs that are working with Mundubile, and you don't say it. You don't say it. No, they've gone separate ways like this. That's the issue. Moment. So we are watching what Luinda is going to do because now they both were, so we don't know. I'm also watching what move Luinda is going to make after meeting Makebi and Bamundoro. But the truth of the matter is that Bamunduvile, Luinda, they went like this, And the guy that probably was sitting in between to bring them together is in jail. Nakachin. Mama. He was the guy that was trying, make sure. Others saw him as an obstacle. Mama. But now he's in jail. They want to replace him so that they can have a convention and things like that. And I've already told you to say, if you have convention, if you don't even rush it, you just give UPND an easy way to penetrate. There is no rush to even do a convention. UPND, when last did they do a convention? When last did they do a convention by UPND? When? Why don't they go for the convention as well? Why have they failed to go for the convention? Why don't you tell by UPND, fineturi na tusarangana, it's okay. Na mwabene kabi yenu convention. Tumanenga bara convention. Why are you rushing for a convention? For what? You don't even need a convention. You just have to sit among us yourself and decide, look guys, what does that fake convention Mao Sampa did? What has it yielded? Nothing. Why are you letting UPND rush you into a convention? They want to tell you, time na if time na can you organize yourself like that without a president? But PF, give yourself some credit. You give yourself little credit. You don't even understand the strength that you occupy. You don't understand the strength and the power that you occupy. You made UPNG look like toddlers ruling party without a president. And you still don't say it. You don't see how well organized you are. You don't see how to get the special mass structures of Mwai Katana. You don't see it. Yes, the top leaders are there doing shenanigans. That is why for me, I said you don't even need a united opposition. Remember, I said that. I said all we need is a united people. If we unite, then we are home and dry. Okay, so try a vote. As long as they are in the Chile. That's what I said. Forget about, the opposition should unite. The opposition should unite. Unite. You understand? Call a spade a spade. This is black and white. Mama. So, I don't understand this anxiousness. The UPND are trying to play with your mind, toy with your mind and say, no, in fact, time is running against the UPND because guess what? 4 years down the line, a debt restructuring, it turns out by 40%. Normal. Load shedding by flocks over. Inch by flocks over. Free education randa kanwa. Awana wade ya kuskura abwelera kwechikopo. Chawa pono kwikara pangani. So, you got to give yourself some sort of credit. You are well organized by PF. You outshined a ruling government. Government ili ruling wa itashined tamuko etelida. Imwe. That is huge, and that was what has sent Shivas Inaka in the Ishirema. Because with that, he knows to say Chavinga is useless. Those papers are useless. Because that feeling intact. Give yourself some credit. But PF, don't listen to these mind games that are being played with you. Oh, we need to go for a convention. The moment you go for a convention, you open doors for Waka in the Ichima to penetrate. And you'll be squeezed. You'll be done. You'll be done. If you never fishing, you'll be done. He realized on the 24th of October, HH saw his end. He said, Ndimu government. But if that's quite a president wawari mumong. But if you organize. Now, if you want to ECO t-shirt. I next year nikafuafu. Bakaisa mkuvote tukavotera pari ECO. Kuvotera fifine mune tukechitumbi tukavotera pachitumbi. Mwaimora. Ukuvota ni pambokoshi. Wamora. So it has changed Shivas and they're trying to maneuver around. And the coming in of Makebe Zulu has just distorted everything. Mwaimora. But if they can manage to find a weak link in PF and demarcate the structures, they will be home and dry. And that is what's happening here. So, open your eyes, think, look, listen. Just because we are castigating these politicians doesn't mean we are here to seek a position and what not and what not. Ngani position twale fwa ngakale twale kokulanda. We've got our own lives to live. So isukeni parakasa, isukeni amenso. Mumone, see, use your eyes to see, use your ears to hear, and use your brain to think. Think, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And why all of a sudden the attack on Makebi Zulu? Why are they not attacking all these people? Why Makebi Zulu? Why are they calling him all these names? Why? Let me tell you, HHLA Karamu meeting, what are we going to do to Makebi Zulu? What? Mulandu na alamu fwaira. Bale mwe batapati mulandu alamu fwaira or you. Boss, you should have listened to that. We told you. We told you. You never saw it coming. Shan. This is the discussion that they are there when they sat there. And that you only used to happen with ECL. And that for me gives me confidence to say this is the right guy for the job. Mama, if by UPND were up and in place supporting Makebi Zulu doing this, I'll be worried to say, I don't want a minute to see what is going on here. Kufuata ni pambokosh. Kaini bare tukana, bena tayari bare tukana. So na ifo kuwonfya ine chechi ne chitumbi ata ndifo kusumina. Chitumbi chine turechi wonfya tuka wina ma elections. Oro ada stage takwate fya kuranda. Tamo chechi abonfya chitumbi na kawine. Takuli ngo. Takwe. Imamule fwa chechi abonfya chitumbi akawine. Why should we not use it? Chitumbi refo etwali mutemeno genuine Edgar Achagwarumu. Kufuata ni pambokosh. Kupunde vote ni pambokosh. Uyowa imini na ECO tukavotera. Vote ni pambokosh. As simple as ABCD. So, you need to be very, very vigilant with the UPND. And they will penetrate in the opposition. They will try and destabilize the opposition. And they will use they'll be so sophisticated. They're going to identify who is a weak link. Tuara station, especially Uku. Kumo is Uku, not to Sanswa. The northern part of the region. Not to Sanswa. If they can manage to demarcate them votes in the northern part, they are home and dry. They are home and dry. And we should not let that happen. Mama. Abati can't win. If he can't win, why are you worried? You should be happy in place. Even for Mumpapcha, by pressing or anybody else. If Makebi cannot win an election, why is UPND worried? They should be dancing and singing. This is an easy win. Be happy. Be happy. But now, all these machinery, even within the PF, you want to castigate Makebi Zulu. For what? For what? Do you want to win an election? Do you want to win an election? Aka in the HM is not sleeping over Makebi Zulu. Mama. And Makebi Zulu is coming in is the one that has even delayed this convention. Because the convention very for no kuipanga edi just after Nakajinda went in. So, my dear brothers and sisters, you got to understand, for the Socialist Party, I've got no business with the Socialist Party, but my friend Beme should have seen this coming. Okay? The moment Kaunda disrespected ECO, my friend Beme should have acted, including no more no Mr. Discipline. Because our video, let me replay this. Our video, our Kwambokulan, by Johannesburg, Tush Shan. And their silence spoke louder than the words that I'm saying today. Mama. Just for that there is no PF in the northern region. You carry any fear. Munguru, mwaisene chimutwe ne fimishish. Nonsense. Wawe tunes. Rubbish.
Yes, Mary.
Yes, then I was called by an IP Lord in church. They said, "Oh, I've done a statement in your name." I said, "No, we blessed it with both hands."
So I saw you said it to me, I just want to finish it and check it to approve. I said, "No address is there. I want to."
Don't ever show for the audio. And my friend, maybe should have seen it coming.
Very exciting.
And this strategy is what Kaunda has taken to UPND. If you have ever fiance, so we can even do it in SP. And that's what has happened.
We want to be sure that we are not only limited to thing, any other statement. This is very progressive. So we can also do a video, how to do that. I could come over reach out to you to do a video and then a voice note can also be circulated.
Oh, sorry. Nice, Tanan.
Yes, my leader, you see your section.
Yes, I was going to
Okay, let me let it play. Volume is very low. Very low. Let me do this.
Yeah,
It was very low.
You sent it to me, so I said, I'm going to also send it to comment. Check it to approve. I said, no, I've read it.
What time is it?
Let it go.
Let me open some phone lines so that my mom landed.
Yeah,
And once I'm talking to him, he's very excited.
OFM.
Yes, yes.
FM is Fred Membe. So she's saying, I'm talking from him, is very excited. So, Bale Fokcha could tap at ECO. Not knowing the same could that can happen in socialist party. One more if you're child.
So, we can also do a video, how to do that.
You can go in.
I could come
In the Sulama phone.
do a video and then a voice note.
Maybe 30 minutes of call lines. You can go and contribute. But that's what I wanted to tell you. Okay? That's what I wanted to tell you. This life, no balance. So, no balance.
No, actually, right now, I'm going to see what you underscore. The second, we need to now that this has passed, we need to do another strategy now. So, I want him to. Yes. Exactly. So, what you want to do is, I'm going to see, we want some statements from members of parliament today.
We want some shanuko for members of parliament today. Meaning, even the members of parliament who are part and parcel of this nonsense. Once CCA is in South Africa.
They welcome this idea and so on and so forth. Yeah,
So which members of parliament were they going to meet?
South African opportunity to come and say this is where we're going.
This was wrong. And nobody was disciplined. And the lot has fallen on the SP now. The same strategy.
No. We can't wait for
Johannesburg. They used to call ECO at Johannesburg. Can you imagine?
No, let him remain by the.
Let him remain by the hospital bed.
By the time he's coming back, it's done and dusted.
By the time he's coming back, it's done and dusted.
in a bigger way. All of us will be at the airport.
And all of us will be at the airport, even walking him, welcoming him. And you want ECO's body to come so you can mock him.
This one would have been technically removed.
He has been technically, he would have been technically removed.
We'll be carrying the ruling from the Constitutional Court.
We'll be carrying the ruling from the Constitutional Court. And they are laughing. This happened. Once Barubindaba na Kachindaba, Fred Membe are there. Nobody was disciplined. On the other end, Bamundi was endorsing himself to take over Tons. And you want me to come here and pretend like I wasn't hearing this. That is a betrayal. Betray ECL. These people betray ECL. And I won't be another one to betray.